Hey there, everybody. It's Paul. I'm just checking in with you on a quick update. I think a lot of people missed the meeting today for various reasons, including it was anomalously early in the month. Maybe we just missed it with the first week of class and whatnot. So I wanted to give you a few quick updates and plans, and then we'll meet again in February. So a couple of updates I wanted to give you was included. We are going to be moving to an online submission and management system. It probably won't affect what we do a lot. It'll be another username and password, but it'll expedite things and make it clearer. That's probably not going to be online until next school year, so I just want to give you an update that we are moving on that, but it's still taking a while to select a vendor, and it's going to take a while to build out the system. We also have been approved for a full-time position here in LA. For somebody to do similar to what Alicia does. He or she would be the assistant director of the IRB, and she or he would handle all of the LA campus tasks. If you know anybody in the field that you think might be qualified or interested in that, you can send that up. We're still working on job announcements and waiting for that with approvals and whatnot. Next, I wanted to give you an update on our fall semester. We received 22 expedited and 3 full review applications. Of those, 14 have been reviewed and 12 completed of the expedited ones, that is. And there's a couple metrics I looked at that I think are interesting. First, you have to realize that once we first receive the application, Alicia does a pre-review and says, hey, you're missing your informed consent, or you didn't dot this or cross that, and sends it back. It usually takes anywhere from a week or 3 weeks to months for students to respond to those. So sometimes the time between the date we receive it and the date you receive it can be a little while. In this case, it ends up being an average of 34 days. The average completion time from receipt to completion is 50 days. And that accounts again for time waiting for students on pre-review and time waiting for students on revisions, which again can take months. So I think that's pretty good. I think we can probably improve that a little bit on our end, but I think I think the difference between where we're at and where we'd like to be, I think we'd like to be closer to 6 weeks for total completion time. But again, probably 2 to 3 of those weeks, and sometimes more, is based on the student needing to get back around and get their chair involved. So I think that's reasonable. I think we can improve that. But the metric of most importance to me is the average time between when we receive, meaning committee member, an application and when we send it back. And the average on that is 9.5 days. So good job, everybody. There you can see my thumb. That is great. I was really impressed when I saw there were sometimes 1, 2, 3 day turnarounds, 7-day turnarounds, a few longer. I know some folks had computer crashes and different things, but on average 9.5 days. That's great work, and I just really appreciate that. So as far as an overflow management process, really we don't have an overflow problem so much at this point because we have sufficient reviewers on the committee. We will move into high flow times here in April, well, probably May, April, maybe even a little bit before May with, let me get my dates here, March and April, maybe even a little bit before March, with the clinical programs, deadlines with internships and whatnot. We'll be working directly with the department chairs there to make sure that a process is in place to manage that. And since many of you have reviewed maybe 1 or 2 applications, a few of you have reviewed 3 in the first semester, I'm hoping that we can be available to respond quickly to those. We'll probably have a month and a half where we each have 1 review every 2 weeks, and maybe 2 reviews at times. So we'll be working on getting some exact numbers and planning ahead so we don't end up getting that problem with students in backlog, and we're backlogged, and they're stressing out. We'll try to manage that up front. 2 more quick things. One, I've received permission from Alicia to create an informal faculty fast track. We currently only receive about 8 applications a year from faculty members but we anticipate that increasing as the research committee gets up and running, the research group, the grants program. We're going to see that increase, and we want to make sure that we as faculty have quick response times, especially sometimes you get a conference coming up, you have to submit an IRB before you submit the presentation or different things like that. We want to make sure we're ahead of the curve. So what we're asking you to do is for those committee members who are willing to make a commitment to informally serve as faculty application reviewers and to commit to a 48-hour turnaround time on those. The way that will work is that currently when you receive an application in a 2-week period of time, unless we're in overflow, you will not receive another application until 2 weeks have passed by. This would still count as that, so it's not like you're going to accept this faculty fast track and then the next day Alicia's going to send you another one. It's like, okay, you've taken your turn in the rotation. Really the only difference is that you're committing to a 48-hour turnaround. So I would like it if those who are willing to participate in that could please RSVP, so to speak, to me and let me know that you'd be willing to do that. Then we'll keep that on file, and anytime we get a faculty app in, we'll blast it right back out the door and get it back to them. So as far as the future is concerned, I think the best thing we can do to improve the functioning of the IRB and heighten awareness in the institution of the importance of human subjects protection and the importance of efficiently working through that is going to be through training and nuts and bolts efforts. So training, there's recently a new dissertation chair training that was released. It has an IRB section in that training. We as committee members are learning the process better, so when we chair dissertations. So what I suggest is that over time we just need to continue to help the institution to keep this on their agenda so that anybody who is a chair is going to automatically see the ethical issues and is automatically going to steer the student in the right direction, is going to be better at completing the IRB application, is going to be more available to the student to help them so that it goes correctly. It is not the role of the IRB to be a consultant to students on how to design an ethically appropriate study. Our role is to provide oversight to ensure that proposed studies are ethical. It's the job of departments and research methods courses and ethics training courses and ethics sections within courses and dissertation chairs to train students on the ethical conduct of research. And as we get better at doing that, the quality of the applications we receive will improve. So I would like to suggest that we start thinking as a committee of some more formal ways that we can get that training out to students, faculty, department chairs, whoever needs it, wants it, and that we move towards webinar-based interventions like this video so that you're not relying on people to show up to a training. It's just something that's archived, it's available, and it's usable for whenever somebody needs it. The other area for improving efficiency, I think, is just in nuts and bolts. I think the review sheet has all the information it needs, and it's an effective tool for going through the process. However, there's some little things about it with the locked editing and makes it difficult to type into it, and if your deficiencies comments are longer than the box, then it creates problems. And then there's maybe some additional verbiage we could use that would lead people through common problems and make sure that they're answering them appropriately. For example, we often get the statement, data will be kept confidential because it'll be kept in a locked file. And I'm always thinking about some student in a church or a clinic somewhere passing out surveys and then collecting them and throwing them in an envelope and driving all over, and sooner or later they get into her locked or his locked cabinet. I think we need more detail on that. So if you'd be thinking about that as well, just sort of what are the ways we can improve the review process in terms of the forms and in terms of the nuts and bolts of what somebody who accesses those forms actually experiences. I think that would be great. So thanks for watching this. I was going to try to keep this to 5 or 10 minutes. I had hoped for closer to 5. I ended up at 10. So if you have any questions, give me a call. Otherwise, thank you so much for your service. And I look forward to meeting with you the third week in February, which will be the 19th. And if you can email me about the Faculty Fast Track, that would be great. Thank you.